Hello and welcome to this discussion segment of Global Morning, where I told you we have a conversation you wouldn't want to miss, and we'll turn our spotlight on agriculture, specifically the federal government's ambition towards fertilizer reform program known as the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative PF1 3.0, which is designed to boost food security, strengthen supply chains, and shield farmers from global market shocks. We played a report earlier when we talked about the fertilizer supply, the program and all that. Well, we have more where the Nigerian government is stepping up efforts to guarantee a steady and affordable supply of fertilizer to farmers nationwide. The Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, now in its third phase, PF1 3.0, aims to stabilize raw material supply to blending plants and expand domestic production. Well, officials say more raw materials have been imported in 2025 than in the whole of last year, with 10 vessels already delivering over 560,000 metric tons of inputs. Well, since inception, the initiative has facilitated the production of over 128 million bags of fertilizer and expanded blending capacity to more than 90 plants across the country. PFI Executive Director Tajin Ahmed said they are laying the foundation for a resilient system that gives farmers uninterrupted access to inputs, boosting both food and industrial crop production. But there are challenges. Farmers remain concerned about rising prices, driven largely by foreign exchange volatility and global raw materials costs. Well, the federal government insists the new phase, managed by the Ministry of Finance, incorporated from November, will ensure greater efficiency, traceability, and increased local sourcing. Also, meanwhile, the MD and CEO of Murphy, Dr. Armstrong Takan, says they are building a system that insulates farmers from global shocks and strengthens Nigeria agro-industrial base. Well, the question now is whether these reforms will translate into real relief for farmers and consumers facing the impacts of food inflation rather. And all of this conversation is what is going to build up to the conversation, like I said, around food security and the agricultural sector. And I have an amazing guest who will be joining me to look at these new reforms, and in person of the Vice President, Federation of Agricultural Commodity Association of Nigeria. He also doubles as the President of Cowpea and Beans Farmers Association, in person of Shitu Kabir. It's good to have you in the studio, sir.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Okay, well, this conversation has gone so long. Food insecurity in the nation is a talking point where Nigerians want to know how safe and how they can consume enough food. You've seen the new reform come into play, and you are in the Association of the Agricultural Community of Nigeria, Association of it, which talks about the consumption level of Nigeria. For you, how do you see this reform as someone who understands the agricultural sector better?
Thank you. The reform is coming at the right time. This is what we have been saying, that we must first of all grow our own economy. We must be able to promote our own product, and then we must also bring to the world to Nigeria. And we can't do this without having all this input. For now, the impact has not been felt by Nigeria.
Okay.
Because there's a complaint of importation of food to Nigeria, especially rice and other staple food. And the complaint is that while you import, the farmers cannot get fertilizer cheaper. Yeah. So now that these initiatives have come, that means the farmers will start getting enough the input. I know during the past administration, there's an agreement between Morocco and Nigerian supply of some of the byproduct. Okay. Now that the federal government has bring this F3.0 system under Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, it's futuristic, is something that it can work, and if it work, that means the country agricultural sector will boost.
Okay. Okay, well, if that is coming to play right now, the PF1 3.0 is to address Nigeria's long-standing fertilizer supply. How significant is it in terms of this issue of supply of fertilizer for the farmers, basically?
It has played a greater role during the last administration, and I believe with the improvement in the implementation of that program, and it should, if well implemented, and if it get to the real farmers, definitely we'll have boosting food production will be boosted, and Nigeria will be smile.
Okay.
Because the major thing is to have the food, and you can see that the prices of food are crashing now. So if you give more fertilizer and then more farms are opened, that means it will crash further.
Okay, so let's look at this. We've talked about how food prices are going to crash and it's going to favor, but despite the improved supply, prices remain high. So what immediate measures can the government take right now to see that there's easy access to farmers, to ease the farmers' burden rather? Because like you mentioned, if this is effectively implemented, put in place to, it also aid the farmer's way of doing his own business.
Yeah, if you have enough fertilizer on enough input, as federal government is saying now, and it reach the farmers, and we all go back to farm. If everybody go back to farm, you have, demand and supply is what determine the market. As soon as the supply is more than the demand, naturally the price will crash. And with this initiative, if well implemented, many of us will go back to farm. Some of us that are doing 5 hectare, 10 hectare may go back to do 50 hectare, because if you are able to afford the input, the fertilizers, you have tractors, you have this, and so it will boost. And then federal government must also look at the security, because many people now cannot go back to the farm because of the insecurity in their area. Okay. So security is another thing that federal government have to look at in order to boost. And then in this respect, you can even engage those military to also go into agriculture, and this will boost agriculture, and then it will also put security at the door of the farmers.
Okay, well, I see. I get to the picture. Let's see. The program aims at to boost local sourcing. That's the idea from the federal government. How realistic is this target given Nigeria's current industrial capacity?
It's difficult. It's a difficult question you are asking me. I've been a farmer throughout my life. I have enough farm within the country, and where practical farmer is easier says than done. Okay. And that's why a lot of programs come and crash. And I'm saying, if you allow this input to get to the real farmers,
okay,
because some people, don't be surprised, this project now, the federal government have very good intention of doing it, but somebody will take 50,000 tractors and keep at the backyard of his house. Somebody will take fertilizer and then go and sell it again at higher price, while he will take it at lower price. So all these measures must be taken if you really want it to get to the farmer. And then we must also call these associations and be able to now distribute through them to their farmers, and then monitor it, and then be able to give them a target. These are measures that federal government have to take, but that you are bringing an initiative. Look at Anchor Borrower. Anchor Borrower was beautiful program, beautiful idea, but at the end of the day, our money end up in the foreign accounts, because it is the sitting farmers that took this money. A farmer like me may not even have a house in my Tama, Sokoro, or Use, or in Abuja. Maybe I have my house in the village, and then you ask me to bring certificate of my house. My house in the village is no more than 100 million, 100,000 naira, and I need 100 million to do my agriculture. So we must also now start looking at how do we use technology, because technology has come to say, look, Shitu's farm is in Guagua, and then you just go and put your GPs and everything, see my Shitu farm, and know when I'm even going to harvest. And the during harvest, you can take your money. So we must also look at our banking system, because our banking system is not helping farmers too.
Okay.
In a way that you have to bring collateral that you don't have. In a way, the measure is too high. Okay. So the federal government must also look at that, not giving us input that matter. You can give us input. Can we access fund? The answer is no. So it must go pari passu. Input, financing, and then in production. This way, you find that if government is this three-way, definitely will get enough production of agricultural product, and then the supply will be higher than demand, and the price will continue crashing.
Okay. Well, it feels very good to hear you speak on this issue, but let's look at your role in terms of the area of cowpea. Cowpea right now seems to have its own challenges going on for you. How have you been able to help farmers get their produce from the farm to also get to the market? Because it's at the point of after post-harvest where they make the returns, they smile back. How has that worked for you?
Yes, beans was banned by the European Union, so we cannot export our beans. But still, I can take my beans to Ghana, export it from Ghana.
Okay.
All the Nigerian beans. Why? Although they complain of putting so much residual, so much this, but what I want you to note is that as association, in collaboration with World Trade Organization and Nigerian Export Promotion Commission, we have been able to identify these problems, and then the World Trade Organization are also helping us now to lift the ban.
Okay.
So we are now looking at how we will grow this organic beans organically.
Okay.
So that, and then we will be able to teach our farmers when you are cultivating, how you store it, how you transport it, and then you don't need to go and put all this rat bomb, all this, and then that bring much of the residuals into it.
Okay.
So these are process we are taking between NEPC, Nigerian Export Promotion Commission, and the World Trade Organization and World Trade Center. In fact, we are visiting some countries to see the best practice on agriculture. So, and that will come, and then we'll be able to also teach our own farmers.
Okay, since you have handled the cowpea, I'm going to throw the question which has been a conversation and a talking point, the genetically modified organisms for the BPR cowpea, because you handle the cowpea. Do you embrace that? Do you put that into your farmers? Because that is also aimed at researchers' work to boost food security.
Yes. For me, as president of cowpea and beans, I've advised our farmers that we don't work on speculation. And we have put some scientists together from the Benue State University of Agriculture, and they are looking at, we are also studying it with our scientists before our position will be known to Nigeria. Because cowpea is our main area, and we must, whatever we are able to tell Nigeria must be factual. And so we put some scientists to work to also look at it before we
before you put out your decision out to people.
Yes.
Well, we see that from our conversation that you've embraced the idea of the federal government to see how this, but you've also mentioned ways the governments can come in and solve the solution, or bring solution rather, to the challenges farmers face, because it's people like you who have the expertise, who are in the farmland, who go on a daily, that can tell the narration to know if government is actually towing the right path to boost food security. So we want to say thank you so much for joining us, because we've seen that you understand the part fertilizer will have if Nigerians or the government puts in the right procedure to embrace the right thing. We hope to have conversations going with you and talk more on how to build capacity for farmers, because the rainy season is almost wrapping up, and very soon we're talking about harvest, so farmers will be smiling to the bank.
Yes, thank you so much. We will be smiling to bank.
All right. We'll be smiling very soon.
Yes.
It's been an amazing conversation with my guest. Like I said, it wasn't a conversation he wanted to miss, and he's giving a breakdown to how that supply chain can also boost for food production, and farmers will keep their heads high, knowing that their labor was not in vain. Well, we'll join other conversation, because like I said, today is lined up, and we'll have our other side of the story to tell in a different conversation, which will come up next. So stay with us.